Hey you guys, it is Andrea here at VW Family Farm. I am heading in the house. I've been out here at the barn and I am going to do a video for you guys today. This is a review. It's an honest review. This is going to take several videos to complete, but today is part one. So if you have been paying attention, sourdough is all the rage right now. Everyone's into sourdough. Everyone's telling you how to make it, how to start starters, how to do all the things. And I have actually done several of those. I've started my own. I have bought them where they were ready to go. And so this is a different kind. This is from my friend Jill over at Whispering Willow. And she worked with Sean, which is from the Mindful Farmer, Arkansas, and I'm gonna drop their links below. But we are taking, they have named it Otis. We're taking their sourdough starter. It has come in the mail to me. It's dehydrated. We're gonna rehydrate it and we're gonna get ready to bake some bread. I have been baking sourdough for years now, but I was telling, Ben was like, why do you wanna try another one? But here's the reason. I have this idea of the perfect sourdough loaf and I've just never achieved it. So this is my attempt. Their bread looks exactly like what I'm looking for when I say I've made the perfect loaf. And so we're gonna give it a go. And they have a course that's out right now on exactly how to do this. I'm gonna tell you by the end of this if I think it's worth you guys doing or if I think you can just do it all on your own. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. But so Otis has come in the mail and we are about ready to get started. First thing we're gonna do, and all of this is in the course, it's in video form for you visual learners, and then there's PDFs if you need it printed off. That's me. I need printed directions. And then you can do this with them through the video. Hands-on learning. While they're doing it, you can be doing it. First thing we're gonna do is rehydrate this starter, and that's what this video is about. We are gonna start step one now, and then we've got several more steps along the way, and then in the next video we're gonna talk about actually baking with it. But first things first, so the first step is super simple. You are gonna get Otis out of the package. He's already measured out 10 grams, and everything we do in this sourdough course is gonna be by weight. So I have measured out my water. I'm gonna mix Otis with the water, and that's gonna be our first what is called the wet feed. And then we're literally gonna wait probably about 12 hours to do the next step. And at that point, we will be adding some flour. But this is going to just give room for the rehydrating to start and just the yeast and bacteria and all the good things we wanna cultivate in this jar to get room to just move around. So you can see this is a quart mason jar. That's what I'm gonna be using for this sourdough starter, and it's just gonna give room in there so we don't in the future have any like explosions or overflows. So we're literally gonna put a lid on this and just come back later today. So it has been 12 hours since we started firing Otis up, and we are about to do the second step. So this is gonna take about 3 days according to these instructions, and what I've seen so far, the instructions are fantastic. They're real easy to follow, and you're gonna need some sort of a good kitchen scale. This is a cheap one just from Walmart, but it does, it'll do like pounds or it'll do grams. And so everything in these directions I've seen so far are using grams. So I have got mine set to grams. I'm gonna go ahead and take this and I'm gonna add some flour in here. I'm not gonna add any more water at this point, but this is still what is considered part of the wet feed. That's allowing this sourdough starter, everything to move around quickly and get activated and start multiplying and things like that, basically coming awake. And then we're gonna do more of a dry feed, meaning more flour than water, where at this point we've done more water than flour. So, but that'll come later on. So for tonight, I'm just gonna measure out my flour and stir it in. So once I get get this mixed up. It's still pretty wet. There's still plenty of water in here. And you can, at this point, put a rubber band around this jar. This is a quart mason jar. I think I've already said that at one point, but that's gonna allow plenty of room for expansion, but it's also nowhere near gonna expand very much up into this jar because this jar is so large. And you're not gonna start seeing in this first day, you're not gonna start seeing this thing like double or triple or quadruple. What we're actually gonna be looking for in the morning, I'll show you guys. You can see right now, there's really no action. I just stirred this in here, so it's really smooth. So I'll show you guys in the morning. There should be lots of bubble action at least, but don't flip out if after a few hours you check this and you don't see anything. But I'll show you guys in the morning. We're gonna wait about another 12 hours. This needs to be in a warm spot, and that's not just for this sourdough starter, that's for any that I've ever worked with. If your kitchen is below about like 70 degrees, you probably need to find a bit warmer spot. Like if you have an appliance or something, they recommended in their course, like the top of the fridge sometimes stays warm, like back by the vent or something like that. Even like if your oven light is on, that might heat your top of your oven up just a little bit. Just somewhere a bit warmer if your kitchen stays cool. All right, y'all, so it's been 12 hours. So we fed it for one complete day. It's the next morning, hence the workout clothes. And we're about to take a look at this. We are gonna feed it again. I've got kids in the house, dishes everywhere, so don't mind the background. This is real life. Dog eating in the floor, everything going on in here. But let's get this going. This is just, it can be super easy to work into your daily life. So I really didn't want to like clean up and present this perfect picture. I want you to see it as it really is. So you can see it has not doubled or anything like that, but you can definitely see some bubble action going on. That means it's coming alive. It's been moving around in there and getting activated. So now we are gonna go into what's called the dry feed portion. So what that simply means is we are gonna add more flour than water in this feeding, and then we're not discarding at this time either. So we're not to that point yet. We're gonna feed it. We're gonna start giving this something to eat off of so that it can start multiplying. So you can kind of see I'm scraping down the sides of the jar. You can kind of see that when I was stirring because it'll kind of get stuck on there. At this point, you could put a rubber band around where this winds up at. This should double in size before your next feeding. And I'll show you that when we get there. All right, y'all, so it's been about 12 hours. We are gonna look in here and see if we've got bubbles. We shouldn't be like quadrupling or anything at this point, but we should definitely have action, and we do. So you can see it actually did double. It's come up quite a bit. I didn't put a rubber band or anything around it, but we're at the night feeding on day 2. But I am pretty impressed that there's this much action on day 2 from a dehydrated starter. So what we're gonna do is discard half of this at this point. They give you a weight in the course and in the files that you can print off. So I am actually gonna measure it. We're gonna discard about 100 grams actually. So I just want to, it says about half, but I just want to start getting in my mind what that weight would look like. Okay, so that was actually quite a bit, probably more than I would have discarded. And that's pretty important because we're just leaving a concentrated amount in here to feed. We're gonna give it equal parts flour and water. And I didn't say earlier in the video, but bread flour is pretty important. Bread flour is designed for making bread, obviously. So it just has a higher gluten content. It's ideal for bread making. So if you can get it. I mean, there's even store brands. It's not super expensive or anything, but it is ideal for bread. So I'm gonna feed this equal parts flour and water. I weighed these out already. And after this feeding, it should triple or quadruple. So we should definitely start seeing some action by in the morning, and I will come back with you guys then. That is gonna be our final day of getting this active. I wanna mention one more thing. At this point, you've discarded this. You can go ahead and feed this one. It's the same amount as what I had left in here, the equal parts flour and water, and now you've got 2 going, and you can share one, you can have 2 and have a backup. You can you know, dehydrate it like they did, whatever you choose to do. Hey y'all, so it is day 3 on rehydrating Otis, which I got from Mindful Farmer and Whispering Willow Farm. And I am just doing an honest review for you guys, seeing how this goes, searching for the perfect sourdough loaf. And so this that I'm about to do is gonna end this step of rehydrating Otis. And then I'm gonna make a video next for you guys on using it and see how it turns out. I have high hopes. Let me show you so far what has happened. So I wound up splitting this last night into 2 different starters. So the discard I wound up splitting and starting a new one. You can see where it rose up and is kind of fallen. That will happen with sourdough starters. Let me show you the other one. It definitely has a lot of action. You can see all those bubbles. That is a great thing. And again, I think this one rose up a bit more than this line, but it's already come back down. Another thing, when you're trying to start a sourdough starter or you're just feeding it to use or whatever the case may be, is the temperature of your kitchen. The temperature of your house, and especially your kitchen where your sourdough starter is going to be trying to grow, is going to greatly affect it. So it needs to be at least 70 degrees. If yours is not, which my house tends to run a little cooler than that, we don't like a super hot house. So I think it would have even risen more had it been a bit warmer in here. I actually, a couple times throughout this process, just turned my oven light on and stuck these in there, and that will just create just a little bit of warmth in your oven. So you could try that if you want. So today we are just going to discard, this is about 210-ish grams, I guess, in this jar right now with this sourdough starter. We're gonna discard half of that. So we're gonna discard, and then we're gonna feed equal amounts of flour and water. If you want these exact measurements, you'll need to go check their course out. This is way too much for me to just tell you guys, and plus, they have a course out. That's why they've put all this work into it, is to have it all in one place for you guys. You can get the starter directly from them, and you can get the course and all that kind of stuff. It'll walk you through everything to do with sourdough from start to finish, all kinds of loaves and things like that. So let's get some discarded. Now there is things you can do with discard. That's a whole nother video, and that's all in the course as well, but there's lots of things you can do with discard besides bread. So you can either toss this at this point, you can take the half you're gonna discard and start a new starter. So I could have 4 starters going at this point, or you can bake something with it. So that's just your personal preference. I'm gonna get this discarded, get these fed, and I already, just playing around with this lid, can smell, it's a nice yeasty smell. Let me show you guys down in here. Look at that. I love all that action. That looks so good. So if at this point you have a nasty smell, like a rotten, putrid smell, something like that, you definitely don't have live action going on. But this should smell like yeasty, yogurty, milky, something like that. Like, it shouldn't be an unpleasant smell. So you can see that's about how much I discarded. This is like an 8-ounce cup. And left about that much in the jar. So I'm gonna wind up scraping these sides down to get all of this back down in there. I'm gonna go ahead and feed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one discarded and fed. And at this point, in 6 hours from now, so we've been working in like 12-hour increments. Now in 6 hours, you can see this about doubled last time. It's kind of back down to that same mark, so that'll be helpful. In about 4 to 6 hours from now, again, depending on the warmth of your kitchen and all that, it should really triple or quadruple. And at that point, you're actually ready to make bread. I'm super pumped about this. It's done really exactly what they set up to this point. So I'm gonna try my hand later today at making some bread with it, and I will definitely make a video and show you guys how that turns out. I have such high hopes that this is the loaf I've been looking for. I'll keep you guys posted. It's definitely, I was kind of skeptical, gonna be honest, about dehydrated starter, how quick I could revive that. It came right to life. So this is obviously a very healthy starter. I'm going to leave some info below. If you are looking for anything like that, you're welcome to go check that out. I'm going to be following this through. I can't wait. I'm excited. And like I said, you can see how quick this is multiplied for me. I went from one little packet of starter to now this is day 3 and I've got 4 of them. So you could definitely do this. You could sell some, you could share with friends and family. You could have more going for yourself in case something goes wrong. You could dehydrate some. The possibilities are endless, but this is an ongoing story. I'm going to keep you guys posted and take you guys along for the ride, and hopefully we are on to something here. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and God bless.